company that's been around for nearly a century.
That's right. Yellow Trucking Company is closing up operations, leaving about 30,000 workers nationwide out of work. As Bob Jones reports tonight, that includes hundreds of YTC workers in Northeast Ohio who are now wondering what will they do.
It's just very sad for the community. It always is when a large company closes down.
Small signs posted at the Yellow Trucking Terminal in Copley Township read, "All company operations have ceased as of Sunday, July 30th. For Keith Stevenson,
It's like a slap in the face after all that we've done for you.
it marks the end of company operations have ceased as of Sunday, July 30th. For Keith Stevenson,
It's like a slap in the face after all that we've done for you.
it marked the end of 35 years with the company, including 16 years as a dock worker at the Copley Yard. He says union workers have made several concessions over the years, including cuts to wages and pensions.
We weren't there to pay off their credit cards. And that's what it basically came down to. The working people of this country shouldn't have to pay corporate America's credit card off their credit cards. And that's what it basically came down to. The working people of this country shouldn't have to pay corporate America's credit card off.
Multiple reports say Yellow was locked in a battle with Teamsters and struggling financially, despite receiving a large government loan in 2020.
There was a $700 million bailout. They owed $729 million to the federal government.
Closing down, despite receiving a large government loan in 2020.
There was a $700 million bailout. They owed $729 million to the federal government.
Closing down operations means about 30,000 people who work for the trucking company will lose their jobs.
They owe $729 million to the federal government.
Closing down operations means about 30,000 people who work for the trucking company will lose their jobs.
Shalom, shalom, Yasharala. All praises and glory goes to Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah, Kodash, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to the legmen feeding the sheep of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Sincerity and truth, this great gospel coming out of our Bible. And let's analyze what's going on in the world today, the vanishing of these businesses, right? These empty containers and these empty docks, right? These low orders, right? These businesses are not ordering as much as they used to, man. That supply and that demand is not there, right? The supply is not there, right? The money is not there. That's why these corporations are vanishing. They're vanishing. They're going away, right? The scriptures spoke about what the doors being shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is very low. It's low, and we're seeing that it is very, very low right now, right? And I had seen this article. It speaks about the summer of 1777, if I'm not mistaken. Right, and it talks about how, bear with me. Here we go. It says the summer of 77 when a Bible shortage forced the hand of Congress. Right, so there was a Bible shortage, man, due to what? Here we go. In the summer of 1777, Americans faced a similar scarcity. Bear with me. Let me get this point at the beginning. Let's start at the beginning, right? The summer of 77, with Bible shortages forced the hand of Congress. The summer of 2022 was a season for shortages, from fuel to rental cars, certain food items to paper goods. Stocks was low and prices were high. Gasoline, for the first time in the United States history, averaged more than $5 a gallon. In some places, a gallon of petrol could run as high as $10 a gallon. But it wasn't the first time that America had to tighten its fiscal belt. In the summer of 1777, America faced a similar scarcity as the Revolutionary War ramped up. It started when British embargoes served supply chains, impacted commodities like paint, glass, tea, and Bibles. Suddenly, a lot of items were no longer available, but Bible shortages were particularly noticeable. So it's called a glitch in the system, right? They had everything operating a certain way, and then something happened where shit, people couldn't get their goods. That's what you about to have with this new glitch in the system with the trucking companies being shut down, right? Trucking companies being shut down. What else you got going on right now? I mean, you got a bunch of mailmen being shot, being robbed, right? The spirit of it's not safe. It's so many cities where a lot of mailmen and delivery will not go into right now because of what violence, right? Because of violence. So prepare for what a shortage in a lot of things in these stores due to what you just seen a trucking company, 30,000 workers got laid off, and that's a big ass company, Yellow. When I was into the trucking game, that was a big company I was applying for, so I already know. And you done had multiple companies shut down in the past couple of years, trucking companies, and you just had this movie where Al Pacino said, "When the trucking stops, America stops," and that's what you're about to witness: the downfall of America. Trucking companies falling, right? It's gonna be a shortages of commodities, right? I read it says it started when the British embargo served as supply chains impacted commodities like paint, glass, teas, and Bibles. So what is this going to impact? Everything, right? Because trucking companies, when they bring in your food, they bring in your medicine, right? They bring in your equipment, your supplies to build houses, right? We live in scarce times. That's why the Bible says in Ecclesiastes 12:1, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Right? These people are not having pleasure in their lives right now. Why? Because the jobs are vanishing. They can't afford to feed their family. They can't afford to put a meal on the table. Can't afford to put gasoline in the car. Can't afford to travel back and forth to work. Can't afford to pay for medicine. Right? Obama told you when he was running for president, he ran that script. He said, you got an 80-year-old lady, she's in the kitchen, she's opening the refrigerator, she's thinking, do I pay for the medication or I buy food? Yeah, playing on your pain. That's what the devil do. So what the Lord about to turn it up. It says, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not. Those days where you can't feed yourself. The days where you are not secure. You don't feel secure. You don't feel safe. Nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. And ain't nobody enjoying their lives right now, right? Everybody is miserable. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and when the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease. What's happening? The grinders cease because there are few. And that's what happened. And the doors and those that look out the windows be darkened. Yeah, man, you just seen the big company cease 30,000 jobs. Right, and you already know when one thing closes down, it affects other things. Imagine those 30,000 people, what they were spending money on. That's about to affect another group of businesses, right? It says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets, right? Yellow's business had the signs in the door after 90 years. They're shut down. And the doors shall be shut in the streets. Burger King about to shut down a lot of businesses, right? It's a lot of these little food stores, Best Buy talking about shutting down some businesses, right? It's a bunch of places, man, that you used to go to that you knew as children, man, about to be shut down, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. When the sound of the grinding is low, no jobs, no work, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Yeah, bad times is coming. Bad times is coming. Second Ezra 6, verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Yeah, when these trucking companies not delivering to your Walmarts, to your Jewels, your CVS's, to your hospitals, to all these businesses around the world, around in America, what you're gonna see a lot of less items on your shelves. And what happens with less items? It means the ones that are on the shelves is gonna go up in price. It's called supply and demand, and you already know price gouging and greed that plays a big part in this society. So prepare for more of that. 2nd Ezra 6, verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty.